Let me ask you something real quick. What if everything you were told about success was only half the story? Think about it. You probably grew up hearing the same thing I did. Go to school, get good grades, get a degree, get a job, and then, finally, you'll make good money. That's the script, right? That's the playbook everyone handed us. But here's what nobody tells you at the graduation ceremony, or at the kitchen table when your parents are filling out FAFSA forms. There are people out there making six figures, building real wealth, buying houses, maxing out their retirement accounts, and they never finished a 4-year degree. Not because they got lucky, not because they know someone famous, but because they chose a different path. A path that most people overlook because it doesn't come with a fancy diploma on the wall. And today, we're going to talk about exactly what that path looks like. Because the real question isn't do you have a degree? The real question is, do you have a skill that the market will pay for? Those are two very different things. And once you understand the difference, the way you think about earning money will never be the same. Here's the uncomfortable truth about the college degree myth. The average American with a 4-year degree graduates with somewhere around $37,000 in student loan debt. Some folks, especially those who went for graduate school or private universities, walk out owing $80,000, $100,000, even more. And then what happens? They spend the first 5, 7, sometimes 10 years of their working life paying that debt back. That's 10 years where your paycheck is already spoken for before you even touch it. Now, I'm not here to tell you college is bad. For some careers, medicine, law, engineering, you genuinely need that degree. Period. But here's where the psychology gets really interesting. There's something called status quo bias. It's this mental glitch we all have where we automatically assume the way things have always been done is the correct way. So when someone says you need a degree to make real money, most people just accept it. They don't question it. It feels like gravity, like a law of nature. But it's not a law. It's just a habit. A very expensive habit. The labor market has been quietly changing for the last decade. Companies like Google, Apple, IBM, and Tesla have dropped the 4-year degree requirement for many of their positions. They're hiring based on what you can do, not just what paper you can show them. And in the trades, in tech, in real estate, in the skilled service world, there are jobs sitting wide open, paying really, really well, with not enough people to fill them. That's your opportunity, if you're willing to see it. All right, let's get into it. Here are 10 high-paying careers you can build without a college degree, and more importantly, how each one can become a launchpad for actual wealth. Number 1, electrician. Let's start with the one that might make some people say, really? That's your big idea? Yes, really. A licensed electrician in the United States makes between $60,000 and $100,000 per year. Master electricians, and those who run their own operations, we're talking $120,000 to $150,000 and above. And here's the beautiful part. You learn through an apprenticeship program, which means someone pays you while you're learning. No tuition, no debt. You're getting paid to gain a skill. Think about what that means financially. While your college friend is racking up $40,000 in debt over 4 years, you've spent those same 4 years earning money, building experience, and developing a skill that will never go out of style. People will always need electricity. Period. End of conversation. This is what economists call recession-resistant demand, and that's exactly the kind of work you want to build your career on. Number 2, plumber. Right alongside the electrician sits the plumber. And trust me, when your pipe bursts at midnight in January, you will happily pay whatever they ask. Plumbers earn between $55,000 and $100,000 a year on average. Experienced plumbers running their own businesses frequently clear 6 figures. Some specialty plumbers, the ones who handle commercial projects or gas lines, make even more. Same apprenticeship model. Same earn-while-you-learn setup. Same high demand. Here's a little psychology lesson for you. We tend to undervalue things we don't fully understand. Most people have no idea how plumbing works, so it feels less impressive than a corporate job with a fancy title. But the market doesn't care about impressiveness. The market pays for necessity. And plumbing is about as necessary as it gets. Number 3, sales representative, especially tech sales. Now we're shifting gears. Sales is one of the most misunderstood careers in America. People hear sales, and they picture someone in a bad suit pushing something nobody wants. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about B2B tech sales, business to business, where you're selling software, systems, or services to companies. The earning structure here is wild. A tech sales rep with a few years of experience can pull in $80,000 to $150,000 a year, and that's including their base salary and commission. Top performers at major tech companies regularly earn $200,000 or more. No degree required. Many of the best salespeople in the country are self-taught. What matters is your ability to understand people, communicate clearly, and solve problems. And here's the psychological insight that makes sales so powerful for wealth building. It's one of the few careers where your income is directly tied to your performance. You control your ceiling. That's rare. Most jobs cap you. Sales doesn't. Number 4, real estate agent. Real estate is a vehicle, not just a job. And I want you to think about it that way. Yes, you need a license. But that license takes a few weeks of study and a relatively low exam fee. No 4-year degree needed. The average real estate agent in the U.S. earns around $48,000 to $80,000 a year. But the top agents? They're making $150,000, $200,000, even more. And the really smart ones use their knowledge of the market to invest in properties themselves. That's where the wealth-building piece kicks in. You're learning how the game is played from the inside. You see deals before anyone else. You understand valuations, negotiations, cash flow. A real estate agent who becomes a real estate investor is playing a completely different financial game than most people. Number 5, HVAC technician. HVAC stands for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. And just like electricity and plumbing, it's one of those things nobody thinks about until it stops working in July in Phoenix, Arizona. HVAC techs earn between $55,000 and $90,000 per year, with specialists and business owners often clearing over 6 figures. Training takes anywhere from 6 months to 2 years through a trade school or apprenticeship. Affordable, fast, and the demand is growing, especially as climate change pushes temperatures to extremes across the country. The lesson here is simple. When you provide something people need rather than something they just want, your earning power becomes much more stable. Needs don't go away during a recession. Wants to. Number 6, web developer/coder. This one might surprise you, but the tech world is full of self-taught developers who never touched a computer science classroom. Web development is one of the most skill-based fields in existence. Companies genuinely do not care where you learn to code. They care that you can code. And that distinction is massive. An entry-level web developer earns around $55,000 to $75,000 a year. Experienced developers and those who specialize in high-demand languages, JavaScript, Python, React, can make $100,000 to $180,000 or more. The learning pathway has never been more accessible. Free resources on YouTube, affordable boot camps, platforms like Free Code Camp, the Odin Project, and Code Academy. You can build a portfolio of real projects in 6 to 12 months and start applying for jobs. Here's the wealth-building angle that most people miss. Once you know how to code, you can freelance, build your own digital products, create apps, and generate income streams that don't require you to trade hours for dollars. That's leverage. And leverage is how wealth multiplies. Number 7, commercial driver, CDL holder. This one might feel simple, but the numbers don't lie. A commercial truck driver with a CDL, that's a commercial driver's license, earns between $55,000 and $90,000 per year. Specialized drivers handling hazmat, oversized loads, or long-haul routes can push well past $100,000. Getting your CDL takes a few weeks. Some trucking companies will literally pay for your training in exchange for a work commitment. Again, no debt, income from day one. And here's something most people don't think about. Trucking is the backbone of the American economy. Everything in every store got there on a truck. That's not going anywhere fast. Yes, there are conversations about autonomous vehicles, but the full transition is decades away. And in the meantime, the driver shortage is creating serious wage pressure upward. Number 8, dental hygienist. Okay, this one requires a 2-year associate's degree, so it's not zero education. But compared to a 4-year degree with $40,000 in debt, it's a very different conversation. Dental hygienists earn between $75,000 and $100,000 per year on average. In high cost of living cities like San Francisco or New York, the number goes even higher. You're working in climate-controlled offices, often part-time schedules are available, and the work is in high demand because dental health is non-negotiable. The psychology of this choice is about return on investment. 2 years of school, relatively manageable tuition, and a career that pays 6 figures. Compare that to 5 years of school, massive debt, and a job that starts at $45,000. The math isn't close. Number 9, insurance agent, especially life insurance. Now this one has some serious wealth-building potential that most people completely overlook. An insurance agent, especially one who sells life insurance and financial products, can build what's called a renewal income stream. That means every year your clients renew their policies, you get paid again, without doing any additional work for that specific sale. That's a form of passive income. And passive income is the cornerstone of real wealth. Top insurance agents in the U.S. earn $80,000 to $200,000 or more. The ceiling is genuinely high because you can build a team under you, which multiplies your earning power further. Licensing takes weeks. The startup costs are minimal. And if you're someone who genuinely cares about helping families protect themselves financially, this career can feel deeply meaningful on top of being extremely lucrative. Number 10, entrepreneur/skilled freelancer. I saved this one for last because it's the wildest card and the one with the highest potential ceiling. Starting a business or building a freelance career based on a marketable skill, whether that's welding, graphic design, photography, bookkeeping, social media management, or anything else the market needs, can generate more income than almost any traditional career. The barrier to entry has never been lower. You can start a service business with almost zero startup capital, a cleaning business, a lawn care operation, a bookkeeping practice, a video editing service, a copywriting freelance practice. The psychological insight here is about the difference between employee thinking and owner thinking. An employee asks, "How much will they pay me?" An owner asks, "How much value can I create?" Those two questions lead to very different financial destinations. Here's the deeper idea I want you to sit with. Wealth is not built from degrees. Wealth is built from cash flow and time. Cash flow means you're bringing in more than you're spending, and the gap between those two numbers is where wealth lives. Time means you start building that gap as early as possible and let compound growth do its work. Every year you spend accumulating debt before you start earning is a year where the gap works against you. Every year you start earning, even at a trade job that feels beneath you, is a year where the gap starts working for you. There's a concept in behavioral economics called relative deprivation, the idea that we feel poor not based on how much we have, but based on how we compare ourselves to others around us. So a young person who went to a prestigious university might feel pressure to take a prestigious-sounding job, even if that job pays less and leaves them drowning in debt, because it looks better. Meanwhile, someone who became a licensed electrician at 22 bought a duplex at 26 using their savings and started their own electrical contracting business at 30. That person has built real, lasting wealth. It just didn't look impressive along the way. The scoreboard that matters is your net worth, not your job title. So what do you actually do with all of this? Step 1. Audit your current thinking. Ask yourself honestly, am I pursuing a path because it genuinely makes sense for my life and my goals? Or am I pursuing it because it's what I was told to do? Step 2. Look at the income, the debt cost, and the timeline. For any career path you're considering, calculate. How long before you break even? How long before you start actually building wealth? The path with the best-looking entrance isn't always the one with the best destination. Step 3. If you're already in a position where you're working a trade or a no-degree career, don't let the cultural noise make you feel like you're settling. You might be ahead of people who think they're winning. Step 4. Regardless of what you do for income, learn the basics of money management. Budget. Save. Invest in index funds. Build an emergency fund. The person earning $60,000 who lives below their means and invests consistently will outwealth the person earning $90,000 with nothing in savings and $50,000 in debt. The vehicle matters, but the driver matters more. Let me leave you with this thought. The most expensive thing in your financial life might not be a bad investment or an unexpected expense. It might be a belief, an assumption you made years ago about what success is supposed to look like and who gets to have it. The people building wealth without degrees aren't special. They're not geniuses. They simply looked at the map everyone handed them, and they asked a question most people never ask. Is this the only road? Or is it just the most familiar one? The answer, as it turns out, is that there are a lot of roads. Some of them are well-lit and obvious, and some of them are quieter, less talked about, and they lead somewhere really good. You just have to be willing to take the first step. Thanks for watching. If this hit different for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more content about building wealth, understanding money psychology, and making smarter financial decisions, you know where to find us. We'll see you in the next one.